What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about some buyout options for the Chicago Bulls, and hoping and praying that some of these options are not gone and taken away before I have a chance to upload these videos and provide you guys with some incredible Bulls content, or at least some hopefully okay Bulls content. We'll have to wait and see, I guess, depending on your interpretation of the video. Today we're going to be talking about a player that obviously a lot of people know will potentially be bought out. Obviously know that he's a good player at the end of the day, and someone I think most people wouldn't mind having on the Chicago Bulls in a buyout situation. I think you know exactly who I'm talking about. You've probably already seen the name and the picture on the screen and the title of the video. Today I'm going to talk about Russell Westbrook as a buyout option for the Chicago Bulls. It seems like everybody's divided on this as well. A lot of people are saying, what's the harm? What can be done? There are some people that are saying that he's just simply not good enough to play for this Bulls team and it'll make us worse. There are other people that are just on the fence a bit. I'll talk about my stance and what I believe about this in the video. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not you would like the Bulls to acquire Russell Westbrook in a buyout scenario. So we'll start off with Russell Westbrook's stats on the Lakers. I feel like that is absolutely necessary to talk about his stats while he was still an active NBA player at this point in time. He did get traded to the Utah Jazz. It looks like Utah, if they haven't already bought him out, will buy him out eventually. Russell Westbrook's stats for the Lakers is 15.9 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, 7.5 assists, shooting 41.7% from the field and 29.6% from the three-point line. So if you're asking for the Bulls to go get a shooter, you're not going to get one in Russell Westbrook. I'll tell you that much for sure. He's actively a very athletic, very much attack the paint and the mid-range type player. He's someone that likes to facilitate a little bit. Again, I think he has a very unique character. He's a very unique character, I would say, about Russell Westbrook. And for a lot of people, he's a fan favorite, and for others, he's a ball hog that should stay, I guess, nowhere near the Chicago Bulls. So again, a lot of people have a lot of different interpretations and opinions on Russell Westbrook. He most definitely divides opinion. And I can't lie, in the past I've talked about Russell Westbrook to the Bulls and I've not necessarily been in favor of it. But the reason is because Russell Westbrook has been talked about in trades, and most importantly trades for some of our biggest players. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, even Nikola Vucevic. These guys that we have on this team, Russell Westbrook has been traded, linked and rumored to all of them. And that's where I've not necessarily had my favorite moments about Russell Westbrook to the Bulls, because if you think about it, last year was one of his worst seasons of his entire NBA career, and there's no denying that. He was absolutely awful for the LA Lakers, and the LA Lakers in return were absolutely awful as well. And again, it's kind of been a theme with Russell Westbrook wherever he goes after OKC. He's not been on the most successful teams in the NBA. He just hasn't been. He's played well at his own stats in his own right, but the teams that he's been on has been underwhelming at best for, I guess, his entire NBA career, outside of OKC, of course, because OKC, he got MVPs, he made the finals one time, and he did a lot of great things for that organization. I think that's why he will always be a fan favorite in Oklahoma City. He also has a very high turnover rate, which is something that we've got to be aware of because we have our own turnover issues as well. He averages 3.5 turnovers this season, which is, again, not the worst that he's averaged, but definitely not the best either. He's definitely a turnover machine, and that's because he plays extremely fast. He likes to run the tempo of the game, and everything in between. That's what Russell Westbrook does. So, again, you kind of know the strengths. He's a good offensive player. He likes to facilitate. He'll attack the basket. So there's good positives offensively. Defensively, I think he's just okay. I think he's kind of dropped off a little bit defensively, but I think everybody on that Lakers team had, in all fairness. And he's still very athletic for his age. So there's good things to Russell Westbrook. But again, I can't ignore what people have said about him. Again, there are many people out there that do believe Russell Westbrook is not a great option for the Chicago Bulls in a buyout in the buyout market. And I can understand both sides. I think it's very easy to understand both sides as well, because I think a lot of people see Russell Westbrook as a rental. Just get him in for the next 28 games, according to our Torres service, and just, yeah, let's just see how he goes for 26 games. If he sucks, well then, all right, we gave it a try. The Bulls team sucks anyway. Off you go, Russell Westbrook, and see what the Bulls do in the future. Whereas, if you still believe this Bulls team has a chance, if you bring Russell Westbrook, you're just going to think he might ruin everything for this team, and there's a chance that may happen. And and we won't be better than what we actually are right now, and think he can make things worse, and that's just unacceptable. So again, two sides of the coin. I can understand that from both sides. Here's what I have to say about this situation. There's no doubt about it, the teams that Russell Westbrook has played for, the Lakers, the Rockets, and the Wizards, all of them, from when Russell Westbrook has been there to when he's left, they've all struggled. It's really as simple as that. OKC struggled when he left. They kind of struggled a little bit when he was there as well in the final stages of his time at OKC. He struggled on the Rockets. The Rockets even now are still struggling. The Wizards, they've kind of been the same, to be honest. They're just up and down. They're just kind of, I guess, where the Bulls are, a little bit in the mediocrity land. That's where the Wizards are. The Lakers, exactly the same. So Russell Westbrook has been on a lot of losing situations, so I can understand why people are skeptical of this deal. What I will say is, though, something that I will defend Russell Westbrook for is that when he is going to these teams, he's expected to be the number 1 or the number 2 option on a team. I could give you examples if you like. Obviously with the Houston Rockets, it was him and James Harden, number 1 and number 2. And their style of play was still, in my opinion, very bad at the time. Isolation, too much isolation. Russell Westbrook driving to the basket, James Harden just dribbling and trying to make something happen off of a pick and roll. Or, again, just trying to do what he does in isolation. I hated that way the Rockets played their style of basketball. And what's sad is it kind of reflects a little bit on the Bulls as well with too much isolation. But that's how they played. And Russell Westbrook did struggle with the Houston Rockets, but he was expected to be a first or second option. With the Washington Wizards, him and Bradley Beal. Now, I think Russell Westbrook at that time played very good basketball in terms of the Washington Wizards. I thought he played very, very, very well, but the team didn't either. But again, expected to be a number 1 or a number 2 option on this team. He was meant to be a guy that needs to hold a lot of the bulk of the scoring, and he needs to be facilitating. He needs to be a true superstar point guard. Again, another situation like that. You move to the Lakers. I don't necessarily think he was supposed to be, I guess, the number 1 or number 2 option. You got LeBron, you got AD. You're the third option on that team, which is kind of where I think Russell Westbrook is best at, to be honest. A third or fourth option on a team, not the number 1 or not the number 2, because he's just unreliable in terms of scoring the ball at a high level every single time down the floor, especially percentage-wise. But because of injuries, Russell Westbrook had to be the number 1 option sometimes. There were times where Westbrook was the only option on the Lakers team because LeBron and AD were injured. And when LeBron and AD weren't injured, half the time AD was injured. So you had to be the number 2 option. This season, he's come off the bench and he still has to be a third option for the Lakers. It's as simple as that. He's the third option on that team, even off of the bench. So I think with Russell Westbrook, we have that mindset that he's going to come into this team and he's instantly going to take over one of the big 3 spot, and he's going to be a third, second option on this team that's going to take a lot of the shots and not play his role to an effective level. That's what I feel like a lot of people are worried about when he comes into this team. I think as Bulls fans, we need to stop, maybe not Bulls fans. I think for me, what I instantly thought about is that I need to stop thinking of Russell Westbrook as a superstar. I need to stop thinking of Russell Westbrook as an elite, max contract worthy player, and think of Russell Westbrook as a role player. Because in my opinion, if he comes to this Bulls team, I can't see him getting more shots than Nikola Vucevic. I can't see him getting more shots than DeMar DeRozan, and I can't see him getting more shots than Zach LaVine on this team. So instantly, Russell Westbrook is going to be, yes, he may start, maybe he comes off the bench, I don't know, depends on what Billy Donovan really wants to do with him. But if he was to come to this team, I see him as a role player. I don't see him as a superstar. And of course, things can change when he's here, and that's obviously the risk you have to take with buyouts. You don't know what's going to end up happening. But Russell Westbrook, in terms of a 6th man, like he was with the Lakers this season, someone that could be a scoring guard off of the bench, that could facilitate a little bit as well, sometimes play starters minutes, sometimes doesn't play starters minutes, but whatever the case may be, if I see him in that role, as much as he has negative impacts on teams, I think that's a risk worth taking for the Chicago Bulls. So if that's where the Bulls' direction is going to go, bring in a player, become the 4th, 5th option on a team, and again, just be a facilitator from time to time, play solid defense, attack the basket in transition, which we like to do, then again, I can't see the harm in doing this. It's clear that we need point guard help. Russell Westbrook is a point guard. Granted, he's not the most elite point guard out there in the world. There might be some buyout options that are better than him in my eyes in terms of the fit and the need of this team. But if Russell Westbrook's the option that we go down, I think it's worth the risk taking, because I don't see him as an ego third option on this team that's going to take shots away from other guys. If that's what he's going to be, then of course we shouldn't get him, because again, there's no point. We're just going to have more isolation and hero ball on this team, and that's something we can't see. But as a role player, as a sixth man of a team, or even as a starter that's just willing to facilitate and attack the basket when need be, I think he's a very good player to have in that situation. So I'd like to see what we could do with Russell Westbrook. I'm not against the deal completely, but of course it has to be in the right circumstances. There has to be certain things done by the Chicago Bulls to iterate to Russell Westbrook where his role is for this team. He can't just come in and take over and average a triple-double and everybody else kind of lacks because of it, because we have a lot of ball-dominant players on this team. We don't need to add another one with the fear that everybody else is not going to get involved anymore. So that's where my real situation lies with Russell Westbrook. If he can come in and play make and do his job well, excellent. That's what we want to see. And I think if he can prove to do that on this Bulls team, and he makes this Bulls team better, it gives him more opportunities to go to different teams, be a starting point guard, and maybe do the same things. I just think it's very similar to what Carmelo had to face. Sometimes you're just not the guy anymore. You're not the number one option anymore. You're not the number two option anymore. If Westbrook has understood that, I would love to give him a chance on this Bulls team. But we shall wait and see. Time will tell. What I will say is, I very much doubt we're going to get Russell Westbrook. Again, the Wizards, not the Wizards, sorry. John Wall used to play for the Wizards. The Clippers traded John Wall to the Rockets, and John Wall's going to get bought out. Would Russell Westbrook really choose the Bulls over the Clippers? Because it's very clear that the Clippers are very interested as well. Think of it in this situation. He's from LA, right? Or at least his family lives in LA now. He has an opportunity to obviously come to Chicago, move his family, his wife, his kids, all to Chicago, and try to once again, I guess, grow a family in Chicago compared to LA. Now, the positives about that, you don't get the big media and all of, I guess, the whole family seeing everything about you. Because again, as much as the Bulls is a large market, it's not a media market like New York or LA. And I'm from Australia and I know that. So again, there's not a lot of, I guess, huge publicity, huge, oh my goodness, drama, Westbrook's so trash, Westbrook and all that. You're not going to get that in Chicago by, I guess, the whole world. You might get it by Bulls fans if you struggle, but you won't get it by the whole world. So there's a good thing about that, but you're already in LA. I think Russell Westbrook loves LA. There's a reason why he accepted his player option. And it's a lot of hassle to move your whole family to different organizations or different places every time you get traded. So, or anytime you get bought out, things like that. So in my opinion, Westbrook, I think, is going to go to the Clippers. I think it's the easiest choice in the world for him. If he comes to the Chicago Bulls, I'll be very, very happy. And in my opinion, it shows that he wanted to be here more than LA, and he wanted to be a Bull more than a Clipper. And I'll take it as that, and I'll be happy with that. But if you're logically thinking about Russell Westbrook and his family involved in this situation, I think the best option for him, the easiest option for him, is to go to the Los Angeles Clippers, and basically nothing really changes except for the jersey that you play for in LA. That's really the only thing that changes. But I'm not too sure. We'll wait and see. And that's really all I've got to say about this video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.